This is the brush cutter. Blue line. What you've got behind me is one of the most popular attachments for a skid steer. This is the brush cutter. And this is one that you can find on Craigslist, on Facebook Marketplace, and even on a lot of auction sites. This is an AGT. It is also the same thing as a Wolverine or a Mower King. There are a lot of different brands. If you're anything like me, you don't really care how this thing works out of the box. That's nice, but I want to know, how does this work after a bunch of use, after 2-3 years, which is why I dusted off the old battle axe over here. This is my own personal one. This is one that I've had for 3 years, and you can see the nice collection of some of the parts that it's broken. These aren't even all of them. The question I want to answer in this video is this worth buying? Along with my other skid steer attachment reviews, this is my longest tenured personal attachment that is a cheap auction Chinese. So is it worth it? And I've also got another video that's going to be the best upgrades to this unit. This is a review. I'm not going to get into the how-to and how to fabricate some of these parts. You can find that in another episode. I'll drop the link down below. So let's dig right into this attachment and see how it works, the pros, the cons, and is it worth it? Let's find out.
Before we do anything with this new brush cutter, we're gonna put gear oil in it. And how we do this is we pop these 3 screws off on each side, remove the cover. Here's what it looks like. This is your gearbox. Remove this filler cap and you're gonna put 85 or 90 weight gear oil. One of the biggest problems with this machine is people burn up the gearbox because they don't put oil in it when they first buy it. These do not come with any oil in them, and so you can burn these up really quickly if your first step isn't adding gear oil. Now that we've got oil in the gearbox, let's put this thing to use, and I'm going to show you several different things that I regularly do with it. We're going to cut some grass, actually a lot of grass. We're going to knock down some brush, and I'm even going to get into cutting down some trees. And we're also going to see what all did this break. Hint, it's a lot of things. How do I like it? How did it perform? Let's get to working. Follow along.
Now, while my machine has polycarbonate glass and a fully enclosed cab, I'm going to show you why that's still not enough in my mind. Check this out.
Upgrade your blades. This is like 3 minutes of mowing. This is why they call these Chinese throwing stars. That can go through your cab, through your window. This could literally kill you. This is horribly built. Look at that metal and how it just snapped off. You can see this blade on how little of use it had. It barely has a ding in it, and these already broke. Get rid of these immediately. Don't even turn it on with these on there. Now, I bought a drone for an exact day like this. It's beautiful weather. Let's do a montage of mowing my field. This is 8 acres. Let's take a look at how it does. Enjoy. this montage wraps up, let's take a look at how it did close up in just mowing grass. What all went right, and here's some things that went wrong. We're gonna move back to the gearbox, and there are 4 nuts and bolts that hold this onto the frame itself, or the body. I don't know what grade these are, some Chinese grade, but these bolts will stretch, and when that happens, you'll be able to just grab these and twist them. They'll become so loose. So we want to take off each one of the 4 and use nice grade 8 bolts, nuts and washers, and tighten those back down, because this will start to move around. I'll show you a quick clip of that. That is all coming from these bolts stretching. Doesn't matter how many times you tighten them, they'll just keep stretching out till they eventually break, which is a nightmare in itself. So replace all 4 of those bolts. Blew a line right here. Look at this mess. Sprayed it all over the place. Breakdown number 3. Let's go through some of the things that have happened. Blew out this line, needed to be replaced. These bolts backed out, needed to be tightened up. Going to the other side, blades broke off. Now these are the upgraded blades, and they have been through some life, man. They're beat. All right, so let's grade how this works in the grass. I should note that we are in the Pacific Northwest. We have tall, thick, and wet grass, the trifecta. You will be hard pressed to find more difficult grass to cut than this. And I give it a 7, a very solid score, 7 out of 10, not spectacular. Now, if we look really close, it does leave a pretty nice finish. I personally like a flail mower a little bit more when it comes to the final finish, but it's solid. And in order to really have a top score, the grass needs to be a level and not a lot of debris in the grass, like rocks and things like this. And we're gonna get into that as to why in the next section. Let's tackle some light brush, and that includes blackberries, small stuff like that. Let's check it out.
This is probably the most common thing that I use it for. These are blackberry bushes, and they don't look that crazy from the video because the machine is so large, but I'm 6'2", so you can see this is pretty thick. So let's get to hacking away some of this.
A few moments later.
Safe to say this isn't good. We have a catastrophic failure. Not good. Look at this. I broke the arm clean off. This was just vibrating like crazy. Of course, I turned the camera off right before I did this. Take a look at what I found in the brush. Yeah, a stump. The stump 1. Stump 1, brush cutter 0.
Well, is this going to be the dumbest idea that I've had yet? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think that I can fix this. Can't be any more dangerous than it was already, right? This is facing the back side. We've got it all level. I checked the spacing all the way around. It doesn't take much for it to be off, that it'll vibrate like crazy. So let's put it down and see if it works. After about 2 acres of mowing, my redneck repair has stood, but I broke a bolt, so I gotta put a new bolt in and put the blade back on. But look how hammered these blades are already. This is all the shit I've been hitting. But my repair is going good. It's surprisingly very well balanced. Probably better than the factory. All right, we're reviewing section number 2, and that is brush. And it started off pretty good. We're going through the blackberries, and it's mostly 1 pass in and 1 pass out, and it's pulverizing that and actually leaving behind very little. It's just a mulch. You can basically drive your lawnmower over that after just 1 or 2 passes. Went through that pretty quickly, but I can't give this a very high rating when we saw the destruction that it caused and how dangerous that is. While I have the full cab with the polycarbonate windshield, that is dangerous, that arm coming off, and it shook the machine like crazy. You could do a lot more damage in there. So you hit a stump, a rock, a tire, you know, anything underneath the brush, you're assuming there's nothing down there. That's a big assumption. So I'm gonna give it 4 out of 10. You're gonna be surprised at minor upgrades, how well they upgrade that. I'm gonna do that in a different video of all the upgrades to make on this machine. This is out of the box what my rating is. So section number 3, let's go cut down some trees. What's the worst that could happen? A lot. Let's see what this thing will really do. Why don't we take down some trees? Give you an example of how tall this is. I mean, that's probably 15 feet. And let's start with this one. And we're a couple inches thick. We're about almost 3 inches thick at the bottom. Let's see if it'll knock a couple of these down. Here's what's left of those trees. Pretty good, huh? This section is short for a reason. I don't care if I have a full enclosed cab, and you'll notice I had that angled pretty high away from me, but we saw all of the big metal pieces that this thing flung off during this video. I did not feel comfortable with it being very far above my head, taking out those trees. It did take them down, it did knock them into basically wood chips, but if I didn't have a cab, there is zero chance I am raising that thing in the air. I don't care how far it's pointed away from you. No chance am I doing that. And I didn't even like it being in the cab, so it worked. It did what it advertised, up to 4 inches, went through it pretty easily. I'll give that one a 4 out of 10 as well. So let's talk breakage, but keep in mind, I've been filming this over the course of 3 years and quite a lot of abuse. I use this thing a lot. I have 8 acres and I do all kinds of stuff with it here at my house as well as other properties as well. So the blades, I'm gonna call it the cross member, the main centerpiece that we broke. We stretched the bolts on the gearbox that made it loose, and we tore up a line for the hydraulic hoses. And while this sounds like a lot, let's keep in mind the price. So what is our final verdict on this? So after seeing all this, even though there is a fair amount of breakage, I absolutely recommend this unit. They are regularly found $2,000 and under, and when you factor in that a replacement of a name brand one of these is gonna run you $10,000, the things that we broke were not that expensive and not that hard to do. Again, I'm gonna show you a video of all the upgrades that I recommend. I go above and beyond on some of these, but with a few changes, this is a great little machine. Now, you're not gonna do forestry mulching with this. That's not what it's for. It's a brush cutter. It's not a mulcher, but this isn't a 2 thumbs up, but this is definitely a 1 thumbs up machine. This is after 3 years and a lot of abuse. I did not take that great care of this. And that's part of why, if you average the 3 together, sure, it's a 5 out of 10, but I actually give this a closer to like a 6.5 out of 10, because you're gonna be spending a lot more time with light brush and grass than you are with trees. So I think we should weight the grass side a little bit higher. I do this basically for free. I don't get paid hardly anything from YouTube. I appreciate you watching. Please check out my other skid steer attachment reviews. Leave me a like. Leave me a comment. What would you like to see? What was my terrible idea? What should I have done differently? Let me know below. Appreciate you guys watching.